Millionaire and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein is dead after apparently committing suicide while in federal custody. Good evening, I'm Jenna Barnes. Also developing today, police are investigating a murder in Rock Hill. Mike, I just found out that this fire is contained, but that doesn't mean the work is over yet. This witness tells me that these papers here on the ground belong to this girl who was hit. It's a list of words to study for the spelling bee. Neighbors believe that crash may have been the result of a police pursuit. Our Justina Cornell is live outside St. Louis Police Headquarters with what she's learning about the investigation. Justina, we want to know what you think. Do you approve of these militia groups? Vote now at ksdk.com/vote or in the 5 on Your Side app. If you're like me, you've read some eyebrow-raising, blush-inducing comments here on Facebook and other websites. What makes someone say those things to complete strangers? How are you going to bridge the divide that we can all see and get justice for these people? Oh my gosh, you can even see, Don, can you point down here? The water is lodged. I would love to entertain outside, but I don't have a yard. I live in a condo.
Definitely, but if I had one,
yes,
I wouldn't want people to be on it. So
I would want a nice yard to entertain my friends, my family.
I would too.
I have a loose
I love it
today.
And if you guys couldn't tell from that, she wants to be a doctor when she grows up.
Clearly,
of course.
Clearly.
It all happened in the second mass shooting in America in less than a week. Here's what we know. It happened in El Paso, Texas, at a shopping center called Cielo Vista Mall. We're told most of the victims were inside a Walmart at the time of that shooting. The shooting happened somewhere anyone could be, an everyday place turned into a horrific crime scene. Our Justina Cornell sat down with a trauma therapist today to learn how these shootings affect our mental health. Tonight, about a dozen people gathered to remember 4 men who died in the St. Louis County Jail this year. There's a new bridge to get us across the Mississippi River. The new Champ Clark Bridge opened tonight in Louisiana, Missouri. The bridge carries Highway 54 to and from Pike County, Illinois. The whole thing cost about $60 million to build. It's named after James Beauchamp Clark, who was the U.S. Speaker of the House in the early 1900s. New concerns tonight about airline safety, this time concerning pilots at major airlines. In the second incident this week, 2 pilots have been arrested while attempting to board their flights after authorities suspected them of drinking. It happened at Scotland's Glasgow airport this morning. The men were supposed to fly United Airlines flight UA162 to Newark from Glasgow. That flight was canceled. Scottish police confirmed the pair are in custody. Earlier this week, a Delta pilot was removed from a plane at Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. It's a busy shopping weekend in Missouri as we prepare to send our kids back to school. It's Missouri's annual tax-free weekend. You won't have to pay tax on things like notebooks, book bags, computers, even diapers. There are some cities not participating, and we posted that list on ksdk.com. Well, this is not the type of fashion show you'd expect to see. Models took the runway dressed in items you'd expect to find in the trash. It's called the Garbage Bag Gala, and it happens every year. Local designers use things like duct tape, paper clips, even coffee filters, whatever they can find to make clothes. The proceeds go to the Salvation Army. It was the perfect day to be out on the water. I wish I was there.
Show. Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
They are talented.
It was a long time ago.
If any picture is worth 1,000 words,
And this was a very, 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 very rough day.
this one might leave you speechless.
We have 2 copies of it, actually.
Sure do.
That's Keandre Kohlenberg in the photo, printed in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, November 18th, 2003. He was just a toddler at the time, his arms locked around rookie officer Michael Langsdorf.
Yeah, I was pretty scared. I mean, you can tell that I was obviously scared in the paper, holding his neck like that.
His dad had just dropped him and his 3 siblings off the roof of their home to save them from a fire raging inside. Officer Langsdorf was below.
I mean, he was my hero, called me.
Our camera captured Langsdorf loading him into an ambulance that night.
He even came back and checked on us when we were at the hospital.
I was just standing there in awe because I just couldn't believe what had just happened.
16 years have passed, but once again, when the Kohlenbergs look at this picture, they can't believe it.
The same man that helped my son is being got executed. You know, it's just tragic.
Their hero killed in the line of duty.
Because I really would like to meet the guy again when I got older. It was something I always wanted to do.
Instead, this snapshot of an emotional embrace will forever be their only memory.
So I wish I could hold him the same way, you know, because he took care of my son.
During lunch hour in downtown St. Louis, we posed a question.
With so many high-profile sexual harassment cases, what will change?
His answer to that question was pretty simple.
Nothing. I hate it. I have a daughter, I have a mother, I have sisters.
And he wasn't alone in that line of thinking.
Hopefully something, but probably nothing.
But we also heard hope for change and accountability, tolerance, and awareness.
The awareness and the high-profile cases will just show more light on the underlying issue, which is it happens every single day, all day long, if you ask most women.
Not to be fearful of retribution.
April Sinkfield says it happened to her when she was just beginning her career.
So it would be my word against his. He was already an established employee, a respected employee, and I was just fresh out of college.
Some say because of the headlines, they're already seeing change in themselves.
If something like that happens, I think I will have more courage to speak up about it.
You know, I'm thinking about it all the time now.
This man told us these cases are challenging him to question his own behavior.
I probably did some things in my past that I shouldn't have done, but I just thought I was being a nice guy, being friendly, and I might have upset some people or women.
Change on a personal level sparked by national scandal. It was like any other day in St. Louis's Botanical Heights neighborhood for a kid named Bobby Bostic and his buddy. Drinking, getting high, they even had guns on them.
Everybody around me was dying, so it was just a matter of time before I got killed.
With that mindset, at just 16, Bobby made a choice that Tuesday, a choice that landed him here.
Bobby, I'm Jenna. It's nice to meet you.
It was December 12th, 1995.
When I looked at him, he looked at me, and we just instantly knew there was going to be a robbery.
Bobby and his friend stole money from a group of people delivering Christmas gifts to the needy in their neighborhood. Old newspaper articles show Bobby shot at one of the men. The bullet grazed his skin. Bobby and his buddy then forced a woman into her car and drove off, letting her go a few blocks away after stealing from her, too.
They were trying to help people in that community that I lived in, and I realized that, and that's where the guilt come in.
Bobby's accomplice, who was 18 at the time, took a plea deal. A judge sentenced him to 30 years. Bobby chose trial. A jury found him guilty of 18 criminal charges.
You're the biggest fool who ever stood in front of this court. You've made your choice. You're going to have to live with your choice. You're going to die with your choice.
Those are the words Judge Evelyn Baker read in the courtroom in 1997, just before sentencing Bobby to 241 years in prison.
I'd never given anybody that amount of time.
The people who are in here for murder
have
lesser sentences than you.
Yeah. I had about 5 cellies that had murders that left the cell I was in and went home, and they came after me.
Still, 22 years in, Bobby says he doesn't see it as unfair.
I'm not the victim, they're the victim, so it's no reason to be bitter.
Bobby's taking college classes behind bars, working towards his associate's degree. He says he's written 14 books here. And he's appealed his case all the way up to the Missouri Supreme Court.
Everything in here reminds you to stay out, to get out and just want to stay out. Everything in prison makes you want to be free. Through God, I just have hope that one day I'll get a second chance.
That chance may be coming. The ACLU is working to take Bobby's case to the U.S. Supreme Court. And Judge Baker, who's been retired for nearly a decade, is joining the fight. Only this time, she's on Bobby's team.
I do hope the Supreme Court takes this case. Hey, I'll take whatever they want to throw at me, but I'm still going to say Bobby Bostic deserves a chance to show that he can be a part of the society.
In the thousands of cases Judge Baker tried in her 25-year career, she says this is the only one she regrets.
We treated children like we treated adults. I would say we didn't know any better. But you live and you learn, and what I did to Bobby was wrong.
In 2010, the Supreme Court ruled that juveniles lack maturity and a sense of responsibility, but they're more capable of change than adults, so they cannot be sentenced to life in prison without parole for crimes in which no one dies.
Bobby didn't kill anybody. Nobody died that night.
There's some debate in the legal world about whether the precedent applies to Bobby's case. Bobby is technically eligible for parole, but not until he's 112 years old.
The Bobby Bostic I sentenced is not the same Bobby Bostic that's in the Missouri Department of Corrections today.
Right now, it's hard for me to go into that 16-year-old mind. I ain't had no direction at that time, and it cost me my life.
Bobby has direction now. He created a blueprint for a nonprofit he wants to start to keep other kids from choosing the path he did.
It's to help teenagers that's lost in trouble, but they do have dreams, to get them the resources to accomplish their goals.
But unless something changes, that idea will never leave the walls of this prison.
He's a good man. He's a caring man. He's a reflective man. And he needs to be a free man.